just watched episode 3 of The Last of Us, and wow, what a powerful, emotional episode. Obviously, the series is about Ellie and Joel, but in this particular episode, their storyline takes a little bit of a backseat and focuses on two characters, Bill and Frank. Now, for those of you who've played the video game of The Last of Us Part 1, we see the character of Bill in the video game, and but we don't see the character of Frank. We only hear of him in a letter or him talked about in a past tense. So the episode is focused on those two characters, and even though I have to admit it was a very powerful and a gut-wrenching set of events that actually happened. I don't want to spoil or give too much away of what happens. What I do know is that there's probably going to be some of those right-wing people who probably will be complaining about the episode being woke, as what normally happens with these set of people. Yeah, it was a really good episode, just focusing on them. Now, again, as I said before, we see the character of Bill in the video game, but not Frank. So, as I said in the previous other episodes, I like the way how what they've done is that they're still taking the story from the video game, the story and narrative from the video game, but then what they've done is that they've actually fleshed out either the story or the actual characters, and even added more meat to the bones, if there was a better way of kind of putting it. So this entire chunk of the story between Bill and Frank isn't told in the video game at all, and I think they did an excellent job in adding more story content to the actual game, rather than making a complete straight full-on copy of the actual video game. In a sense, sometimes when they do remake video games or tell a story of a movie of a video game, or in a TV series, sometimes they take away from what's been told in the actual story. But this is one of the few very rare video game to TV series where they've added a lot more story content to the actual events that happen in the actual video game, and should I say events that don't even happen in the video game. And even though with this particular episode that they've added a ton of story content, it still fits into the structure of what makes The Last of Us The Last of Us. So it's actually, it's actually really great in how they've done it. It doesn't feel out of place. And as I said before, really enjoyed it. And as I said before, don't want to spoil too much, but it was a bit gut-wrenching in kind of what happens, and really kind of sad. It even brought a tear to my eyes in terms of what happened and how things kind of play out, and it's kind of really sad. All I will say is that there is a big change that they actually do with the Bill and Frank character. I won't say what because it will give it away, but I thought that was really great in terms of what they did, because I was expecting it to turn out the same way as what happened in the actual video game. But what ends up happening is that it goes off complete 360 in terms of what actually happens to certain characters and how it plays out compared to the video game. And yeah, I would say they did a excellent job. This is probably, if you're looking for it on the emotional spectrum, and as for being gut-wrenching, I think this episode definitely hits the mark in that terms of how the story and the characters play out. Well acted, as I would say, and really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing with episode 4. But so far, this show's been absolutely magnificent. It's gone beyond my expectations in terms of video game to TV series adaptation. As I said before, and I keep saying this, I like the fact that not only does it they follow the story spot on without leaving anything out, but they've actually added more content to the actual context of the story of The Last of Us Part 1. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to how the rest of the season is going to play out. If by this mark of what we've seen with them adding more content to the actual episodes and to the story narrative, I think we're definitely going to be in for a treat between obviously this episode 3, which is just finished, and the series finale of season 1. A couple of days ago, they just announced that The Last of Us has been renewed for a second season. No news on how many episodes that will get, so I'm guessing it's going to be around about the 9 episodes as what season 1 has got. Maybe it might get more, who knows. What I will say is that this episode is a little longer, so it's about just under an hour and a half, so it's a little bit longer. And it didn't feel as if the pacing was dragging along. It went along nicely. As I said before, really enjoyed episode 3, and it's a shame that we have to wait for another week for episode 4. So yeah, that's The Last of Us, episode 3, season 1.